After we have selected source tables in step 2, we are moving to step 3. Select the fields. Now here, going from 2 to 3, it takes a few seconds because the model is built in that moment. Now step 3 is a very simple though very powerful step, because we are selecting fields, and that will be based for dimensions and measures. We have selected two source tables, sales header and sales line, that in total have 310 fields. So this means that 300 plus fields are available for us to be used as either dimension or measure. There are two element types that we can use in business intelligence: dimension or measure. So if we bring in on the processed cube already, so we have two fields have been selected as a measure and all other fields are dimensions. So let's just click this here. So two are the measures, in our case the decimal and the amount and the quantity to invoice, and all other are dimensions. Now the integer part, you see, has been suggested as a dimension, and this is the right, because we want to have a line number as a dimension. If we would say, hey, we want this to be measure, then this would sum up the number of a line, which is actually what we do not want to have, because we could not sort, but this would then sum the value of a line number. So this is fine. So the wizard, by creating selecting the field, wizard knows already from a metadata what is the type, and based on the type he suggests whether that will be a dimension or a measure. So the list is very long. There's a lot of fields, let's say some fields are duplicated, and all we have to do is select the right fields. So if we select the amount fields, this is what we have. If we select quantity, okay, let's just hit the quantity, then this is all about the quantity, date, description, and on and on and on. If we want to be focused on a specific source table, it doesn't mean that we have excluded the sales line. Not at all. We are just not showing the fields from a sales line, but we are showing the fields only from a sales header. So if we click here, see, now we have the fields that are being available by a sales line. The only functionality that we have in select table is a preview. This is not the only, but one of the two functionalities is the preview. So the preview automatically generates a select statement. This is a select statement that we have to copy in whole and open a source database, the source NAV. So this is going to be an NAV database on NAV demo server, and this query, okay, will be against this database, not against the staging area. Once we copy, we have a field here, and we run this query. So what is the point of running the query against the source? We would like to know if all the fields are used or not. So for example, if in NAV we are not using external document in the sales orders, so we should not use this field at all. And we can check for every field that we select. Very simply, we have to close each time, and we add a few more fields. We can add all fields that are available here. So just do, let's say, these 4 fields. So the preview has more fields. We select Ctrl A, copy. What you notice is that we have a select company field. If we would have more companies, then the list of the company would be available here. Why is this important? Because the data in I will select paste, delete first, and paste this, and run this again, because in NAV the tables start with the prefix of a company name. So that's why we can select the data only from one company at a time. What we find out is, you see, balancing account looks to us it's not being used. So here a little knowledge of SQL helps, where we would say that balancing, okay, let's say sales line dot sales, this is coming from a sales header, and we say dot, and we say balancing account number is different than is non-empty, like this, and we hit execute. Voila. So actually you see all of these rows do not have any balancing account information, so we can be quite sure that at this point we do not need these two fields. What about assigned user? So we can just copy this field here and make it, if you're not used to SQL, just use a copy and paste, it works fine. What about this? It's not being used too, and there is another field that we uncheck, we can be sure it's not used, then it's an area like this. Let's see what if this is being used, not. So we can be quite sure that eliminating these 4 fields from our selection will not lose any information. So let me explain you this field, this functionality. What is the SQL custom expression? And I will going to use another instance. So this instance is a retail instance. Okay, it has a little more fields. So we have here about almost 40 fields, and it's not used that often, this feature, custom SQL expression, and you should know some SQL obviously. When we have a specific field that we would like to write the code a little different than to say in the view, hey, this is the name of the field and this is how it is coming the value in, but we want to change this mapping of the field in the view. So this is where we can write any T-SQL expression. So actually, what is this T-SQL expression? What is the SQL expression doing here? Actually, it's converting milliseconds into minutes. Okay, so this is something that you know if you are a SQL developer, and even if you are a SQL developer, this is not a simple one. So the best thing is to have such a script as a part of your repository of SQL script, as a reusable sample. But let me show you why do we have to do this. So in the preview we create a script, a select, and we are going to analyze this going against the source, and the source here is the retail database. We paste the value, okay, and these are the fields. No, yeah, they are. So execute. Now we are looking into the time, and the time here has this is a starting day. Actually it's a 0, then it's a 15-hour, minute and second, and that actually doesn't, this information for us, it's not really important whether this is a second, but we need a minute. That would be enough. So in order to change and transform this, we will do this transformation. So okay, and so what this script does, if we go back here, it's not this one. It's the script in here. Let's just close this and copy and paste it into the SQL. Here, this is a time. So instead of time, okay, we will replace this, what is standard, with this is like this, with a formula that will convert this. Remember, this has with seconds. Now I click execute, and I have a wrong information here about trans time. Must be with this in our case, because I just made a shortcut like this. Okay, it's trans entry time, not trans time, but time, just time. Okay, so what we have now is information about the time without seconds. It may look a simple process of rounding, and there may be other ways how to do it, but actually that's not important. The important is that you can insert the script, any script that would transform the straightforward relationship from a stage field into a data warehouse field by T-SQL code. And because we put this code in a side of the application, this is a compartment that will always be keeping this code and put it into the right position in a loading fact. And as a result of entering script, we get a green checkbox, which means it's nothing wrong with other fields, but this one is filled with script. That is the point.